There's intrinsic and invaluable measure of value in seeing a kid smile. Just ask Hayley Henning. She's the CEO and founder of Characters IO, a company dedicated to providing premier character experiences for kids' parties and events. If you ask her why she started the company, she'll tell you you'll never know where a kid is coming from, and the value of making them smile is priceless. She joined me this week to tell me all about the origins of the company and why she is so fulfilled doing this important work. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. If you're ready, I'll welcome you to the program, and I'm excited to learn all about your journey in entrepreneurship. Great to be with you this afternoon, and thank you so very much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Hayley, I know that your entrepreneurial journey started at the tender age of 19, and you wanted to launch yourself into entrepreneurship. And look at you now. So, I'm curious to ask you about chronicling that journey for me and the value you place on perseverance.
Yeah, so I started my company at age 19. I was a college student and I was just looking for ways to make a living. And obviously, as a college student, I was broke, paying pretty much for all of my own expenses, right? And just trying to figure out a way that I could earn a living. And so my mom and I sat down one day, and it was her idea where she said, maybe you should dress up as like Cinderella or something and go to kids' birthday parties. So I said, okay, that sounds like a great idea. She's like, I'll make your costume for you. And maybe this is a good way that you can, make money while you go to school. And so over time, I got my first gig, and I learned all about the internet, and I went through a lot of different hurdles trying to get to um, my first gig. And what's funny about perseverance is I was literally like this close to giving up. I had spent months trying to get my first gig, and it just didn't happen fast enough. But as a 19-year-old, patience was not my virtue back then. So but yeah, once I actually got my very first gig and I was Cinderella, I lived in LA at the time. And I did my first gig in Pacific Palisades, and I will never forget it. And I said to myself, you know what? This is what I got to do. This is what I'm gonna do while I'm in college. I can't have another regular job. And from there on, I just kept going through and persevering through lots of different hurdles, obviously being in school, living in LA, being a broke college kid. But yeah, now I have 17 locations all over the United States.
Well, congratulations. And before this started, you told me that you're in the middle of hiring for a new location. So I guess it's a good problem to have, huh?
Yeah, we're hiring now in New York City.
Well, the city that never sleeps, right?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it because, I'm sure you got to read about, we provide character parties for lots of different types of events: birthday parties, weddings, special events, businesses, malls, things of that nature. And I know that New York has some of the most amazing talent, so I'm very excited to see what type of performers are going to come out of that territory.
Absolutely. And Haley, I'm also wondering and kind of curious on how you came up with the name for the company itself.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we actually started out as Party Princess. That was the first name that I created when I was, well, 18, just turning 19. And at the time, I came up with the name Party Princess because it was just me, myself, dressing up as princess characters, like the main ones, right? Cinderella, Snow White, Rapunzel, those types of characters. And over time, that name didn't really suit us anymore, as far as like what we offer, because now we offer like over 50 different types of characters. And so we went through a rebrand about a year and a half ago. We changed to Characters IO, and IO is a kind of like new trending domain name that's kind of circulating in the tech industry. It's sort of segued itself over into other types of industries too. And, we're characters, right? So Characters IO just seem to be a little bit more gender neutral in terms of like what it is that we're offering, because we're not just princesses anymore. We also have superheroes and other storybook characters, and even like mascots as well.
Fantastic. And tell me, I know through this experience, you've also gotten a chance to work with several celebrities. So I'm curious to know what that experience has been like for you.
Yeah, so we had the opportunity to work with a wide variety of different celebrities, some like Jessica Alba and Tori Spelling. We've done some like charity types of events with Jessica Alba that she does at Christmas time, which has been really great and fun. And the publicity has been amazing through those types of events. However, I will say though, I think my favorite type of gig is just doing a birthday party for, now granted, I don't do the birthday parties myself anymore. I've retired, long retired from doing that. But I think my favorite type of gig that we provide to our customers is just a generic birthday party where maybe we're servicing like a low income family that we're making such a big impact and bringing such smiles and happiness to a child. And it's really magical when a little kid who, even after COVID, right? I feel like after COVID, it's even more magical now because kids have gone through such like a long period of time where they haven't been able to interact with people. Maybe they didn't have a birthday during COVID. So this is even more magical and special for them to get to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always important to pay it forward, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. And Haley, I'm fascinated to ask you about recruiting for the business that you run and what sort of angles you take when you look for people to hire to work for such a specific but interesting line of work.
Yeah, so staffing recently has been harder than normal. I would say, especially post COVID, and obviously still dealing with COVID, there's a certain group of people that are still a bit nervous to be out in public, interacting with others. So it's been a bit difficult, but we generally look for actors who really just enjoy like an acting type of job, or maybe they can get experience with their resume. We like working with even high school and college students who really just want to expand their acting career. And we work with all race and creed. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're looking for everyone. It's just people that have a passion for acting, but also are really reliable.
Yeah, reliability is the best availability factor you can have, right?
Absolutely agree. And I love being a good I guess role model for being reliable. I feel like it's so important, especially in my type of industry, right? Because we're creating such a magical day and experience for a young child, and we don't want to mess that up.
Absolutely not. You only have one chance to make a first impression, right?
Totally, yes.
And Haley, I'm curious to dive into the whole diversity and inclusion discussion. You know, I was born with a cerebral palsy, and I've lived with it all of my life. And I'm curious to ask you, in the realm of entertainment, the value you place on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, so we have a wide variety of different performers that work for us. In fact, it's important to us to help provide to our clients what it is that they're specifically looking for. For example, we have a lot of African American girls that will play Cinderella. In fact, we even have an African American girl going out as Rapunzel for this weekend at our Houston location. So we do our best to try and get as many different types of performers that are working for us, and help provide what it is that our clients are looking for.
Fantastic. And tell me, what would be your advice to any young entrepreneur? Because I know you've been there yourself. When it comes to expanding or scaling their business, what do you think your best piece of advice there would be?
Yeah, so I would say perseverance is definitely one of them, but I also think something that's really critical to understand and to really like embrace is that, and this was a hard thing for me, but I think failure is a really good opportunity for learning. And for example, we just had some issues with our company last weekend where we had some issues with a few of our events. And we took that as a learning experience in places that where we feel like maybe we fail or there's like a lack of communication, or maybe we can do something better. Just because you fail at something doesn't mean that everything's gone to crap and you can't move forward and you can't proceed with what you're doing, right? It's about taking the failures or the areas where maybe you have part of your business that's suffering, or you need to fix something, and then taking it and tailoring it and making it better, so that you have a good product or a good brand and you're offering a really good service. I also think too that for any type of business, it's really, really important to have a really good sense of the internet and how you and who your target audience is, and like how it is that you're gonna sell your product or your service, and what channels that those types of people are sitting in, right? So for example, like for us, we have a heavy emphasis in Google because that's where we find the majority of our customers are searching for our service. So really understanding like your target audience, and then understanding how to appeal to them and where they're going to be most likely. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they searching for you on Google? And then just really understanding the internet. I would say that, for me, the reason my success happened is because I literally sat in front of the computer for hours and hours and hours as a 19-year-old, like trying to understand the internet. And I had no money or anything, but I mean, there's lots of things that you can learn over the internet. And I think just really getting a good grasp and understanding of that is vital.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the new age of communication, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Haley, I'm also wondering your thoughts on how the children's entertainment space has changed over the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I've always seen a very steady demand as far as our type of service for characters, truthfully, over the last decade. However, obviously with COVID, some things changed, right? And so people pulled back during COVID. They weren't having events, they weren't celebrating birthdays. But what I find to be very interesting now is that it was, and everyone uses this term, right? Like this pent up demand. And I do really believe that that's what's transpired with, kids' birthday parties and events and weddings and all the special types of events, right? Is like we've gone, through COVID of not getting to have celebrations and being close to people. And so now I'm finding, and this is why I continue to open up new locations, is that the demand is hotter now than even before COVID.
Yeah. Oh well, as people get out of the house, they want things to do, right? That's probably why, right?
But even now it's like a lot of businesses have closed down, right? Like the
Yeah.
indoor playgrounds and things of that nature. So I think even more so now, people want just a little special something that they can, have as a celebration. And what better way than having like your favorite princess or superhero come show up and paint your face and hang out with you for the day.
Absolutely, and I know that you live in the California area out there in Costa Mesa. So I'm curious to know, for you, what's the best part about living the California lifestyle?
Well, I feel like saying the weather is amazing is probably super cliche. But I do really love the weather here. I'm born and raised in California. I was born in Palm Springs, California, so it's really hot down there, but I love it for vacation. I love the season down there. I also really love just my favorite thing about Southern California here is the harbor. I love our harbor is so beautiful, and I love the ocean, and I love boating, and that's kind of my favorite pastime. So I don't know that I could ever leave this area because I'd probably miss the harbor too much.
There's nothing wrong with being a California girl at heart, huh?
Yes, I love it.
So, Haley, we talked earlier about diversity, but I'm also curious to ask you specifically about women, because despite our best efforts in some parts of the entertainment industry, women are still marginalized when it comes to opportunities in both entertainment and entrepreneurship. So, as a successful entrepreneur yourself, I'm curious to get your thoughts on how we advance forward more equal opportunities for women.
Well, okay, I think I'm going to give you my honest answer on this. So I think that we all have similar opportunities to success based on the effort that we put into something. And I think sometimes having a struggle is actually important to the success of whatever it is that you choose to do. So for me, I'll give you my example. I grew up very poor, single mom. When I went to college, I had to pay for everything. And so for me, I think being a woman wasn't even anything that I was thinking of because I was so economically disadvantaged. But being economically disadvantaged is what pushed me to be where I am. See, had I come from a place of money, I would have never in a million years persevered as hard as I did because I needed to have my life change, right? Like I didn't want to grow up and be poor. I was tired of it. I was tired of not having money to do stuff, and not being able to buy new shoes as a kid and things like that. So for me, sometimes I think, the opportunities are there despite there potentially being, a disadvantage. It's just how you work through that disadvantage to get to the other side. And I think hurdles can be great things sometimes. It's just how you handle them and you navigate them.
Yeah, I say that diversity doesn't define you, it's how you respond to it, is how you'll be defined in life, right?
Right. And truthfully, I feel like being a woman was advantageous to me in this particular industry. I'm sure parents felt more comfortable speaking to a woman over the phone and, getting to have their favorite princess come, because we're kind of in that, you know, um, this type of, princesses and things of that nature, right? So I think being a woman helped me in that way. But I think just, these types of challenges, like we all have different challenges in life, whether we're a woman, whether we're of color, whether we have some sort of, ailment or things of that nature. And I think really the effort that we put behind what it is that we're trying to achieve, I think is, it really shouldn't be unnoticed or unaccounted for.
Absolutely. And Haley, I've said this these last two questions to the end because I'm curious to get your answer as we wrap this conversation up. For you, what's the best part about making a kid smile?
It's a good question. I would say that, you never know what's going on with a child. I'm a mother, I have two children. They're 9 and 7. And you never know what's going on in a kid's home, right? Like, are they needing something? What's their family life like? Do they have good parents? Do they go to a good school? Are they being bullied? And, having your kids' favorite character show up, it's more than just like a smile, right? Like oftentimes it's their hero, right? If Cinderella came and showed up for my daughter, I mean, it would just, it's such a magical experience for them, right? Because they get to see these people on TV, and they're delivering these really positive, great messages that kids are able to actually look up to these icons, right? And strive to be like their favorite hero. And then to have them, in real life is just a truly magical experience for them. I think actually stays with them for a long, long time.
Absolutely. And Haley, tell me, how do you think you want your personal and professional legacy to be defined?
Well, truthfully, I just want to be a good mom. That's not it. I mean, I love my business, and I love making people smile, and I hope I bring a lot of magic to other kids. But truthfully, I just want to be a good mother.
Well, that's very noble and worthwhile initiative, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
Abs-
being mom is a great thing.
Absolutely. And finally, Haley, tell me if people want to get connected with Characters IO or you personally, what's the best way they can accomplish that goal?
Yeah, so you can go to www.characters.io. And then if you want to reach me personally, you can reach me at Hayley, Hayley, at characters.io.
Fantastic. Haley, this is going to be my most entertaining and fun conversation of the week. So I really
Oh,
want
thank
to
you.
thank you for your time, energy, and efforts on my behalf. They're most appreciated. And I want to thank you for being here this afternoon.
Yeah, it was great connecting with you.